Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Inside the Valley podcast. I'm Colin Spencer. Great to have you back. We're in our open discussion time, so if anybody would like to bring up any topics in class or anything they're interested in, fire away.
What's everybody thinking about March Madness?
I
Arizona's
don't
gonna win.
actually have a bracket, but my
Oh,
best friend does, and she had UConn going all the way, so she's very upset about it, but she'll be okay. Steph,
UConn
Upset.
won.
you told me that UConn lost.
No,
I
I was in
swear.
chapter meeting on Sunday and watched UConn hit a game-winning three
So they
against
won.
Duke.
Well, she has UConn going all the way. So
Yeah.
she
Yeah, it's
she
good.
had to
They're in
then.
the Final Four right
No,
now.
guys, she was like really upset. Okay. Well,
Oh,
Was it like the women's bracket?
no, she was
Wait,
praising
UConn's
me.
in the Final Four in the women's, I think, too.
Maybe. I don't think she was watching. I think she was
I think
either
she's going based off the
not
mascots
my
and she's
circus,
getting
not
it
my
confused.
monkeys. Okay. How's your bracket doing, Colin?
My bracket's not doing too bad. I mean, I got three out of the four Final Four teams. I
That's
picked
good.
Purdue in the
okay.
Final Four. They
I'm
did not
happy
clutch
for
up.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
who didn't you pick? Did you not pick UConn?
No, I picked Purdue in one of them, and Purdue didn't make it. So
In the Final Four now, who didn't you pick?
who didn't I pick?
Yeah,
It
Michigan,
was
Arizona,
Michigan.
UConn,
I
Michigan.
didn't pick
Dang,
Michigan to get in.
go
I
blue.
didn't think
My
Michigan was
blue
built
rains.
for that lot. But
Um,
hopefully I clutch up. I'm in a league that it's like a $50 buy-in, so
Nice.
shoot,
I
my whole
filled out a
family's playing.
bracket. I filled out a bracket for the Roar, the local radio station.
Mm,
hmm
It busted early, so
uh,
That's okay. That's okay. Next year.
everybody's bust early. The odds are like 1 in 9 quadrillion or
dude,
something.
I looked it up, and in order for someone to guarantee that you are that you make a perfect bracket. So like make every single bracket possible.
Yeah.
It would take like 350 years if you made a bracket
Wild.
every 3 minutes of the day.
That's
Holy
wild.
crap.
I
That's
That's
think
a
you
lot of
can do it.
commitment.
ridiculous.
You
That's
can do it.
ridiculous.
I
Yeah,
low-key
right.
think like with AI getting so huge now, somebody can do it. Like they just
Somebody
create
could.
Literally.
AI to
Yeah.
have them constantly build brackets.
Hmm.
Because I mean,
Probably
I've
could.
That's gonna
seen
be
like
me.
stuff with
Got a
challenge.
supercomputer
Gonna
though.
be me.
Yeah.
You see Cal, she had that like $1 billion prize if you made a perfect one.
Really? Billion.
Yeah, a billion
That's
Well, I mean,
dollars.
wild.
That's awesome.
it's not gonna happen, so
I know.
Oh, yeah, they can throw all the money they want
yeah.
around.
Give
It's
me a give me a
never gonna
trillion.
happen.
What about you, Caleb? Have you written any articles recently for the Roar
Mm.
or anything?
the Tiger, yes, I have. So far,
You have.
no, you're fine. I've written a spring game analysis piece. Today was our satire edition of the Tiger, and
Okay,
we
cool.
put out a lot of satirical pieces for April Fools. I've also I
Love
also
that.
wrote a an article that was titled "Iconic Latin Duo to Perform in Death Valley Nights Again." So that one was a little bit of fun,
Yeah.
That's
and
cool.
I got to play
Wow.
around with the idea if a Latin group or singer were to come to Death Valley, this is what it might look like. So that was fun.
That's awesome. Actually,
How you
I know
fit?
why I said Roar instead of Tiger then. It's because Roar said that John Summit was coming today as a April Fool's.
Oh
So
my gosh, I saw.
that got me for a second, but
Caleb, how you feeling about the squad this or next year for football? What are we
I
looking
feel
like?
like we're very, very, very underrated.
Mm.
The
Really?
transfer class is legit.
How do you feel about QB room right now with Christopher Vizina at one, Pete Reynolds at two, and Denson at three?
I was expecting more from Denson going into the spring game.
Yeah,
I did
same.
notice he struggled mightily. He had a pass incompletion that was kind of sad, even though I was a Denson buy-in fan kind of from the start. But I wasn't surprised to see Tate Reynolds. ascend to number two and potentially the starting role
Yeah.
this spring. So I wasn't surprised at all. Brock
The wide
Bradley is
receiver room.
another.
How do you feel about that?
I feel that we are stacked at receiver.
Gordon Sellers, Naheem Burrows.
Some
Yeah, we
dogs.
we've got
Those
we've
dudes
got
are
a
legit, yeah.
Some dogs.
thing about like, but that's not part of the class about like the TikTok like Subway Surfer thing.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
So today in class we talked about how we desire to be transported into like different mediums and we have this flow state that is vital to be in. So what do you guys think overall of like what's the most important way to be transported in an immersive experience?
I think it's like all kind of like mindset that you're in to get to that state. I,
Yeah. I have
yeah.
ADHD, so I would say that usually doesn't happen for me. But if I like take away all other distractions and I plan it, like I know exactly what I'm gonna do and I mentally prepare about it, I can try to hold my attention span for as long as I can. I feel like that helps me. Just keeping myself organized and really caring about what I'm doing, then I'm obviously gonna pay attention more. But I don't know. Anyone else?
I think a big thing is like stimulating to something that like maintains my focus on something, like like an attention grabber in some ways, like to keep your attention. Say you're watching a UFC fight card and they're in a little intermission, they're on a break, they're throwing like, oh, can't tune in 2 weeks from now, and like keeping your attention on the screen, but also keeping your attention. So you're like, oh, they're on a commercial break. Let me just flip channel.
And even what we were talking about today too about the Subway Surfer and Reels and YouTube Shorts or whatever, like
Yeah.
just the attention grabber and like that split screen that keeps you locked in for random stuff too. And I don't even know how that works, but it does. And that's like what the whole idea is too. Is there any have you guys got any like I saw today some random account posted that Tom Brady's going to the Jets. But then I was like, no, ah, crap. No, I believed it for a split second. It's
What would
Saw
have been?
some.
The amount of stuff I've seen today
yeah,
has actually got me. And then I look in the
it's
comments and like
ridiculous.
half of them are just like hashtag April Fools. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Got
I'm
it.
It's
actually really
been
embarrassed. My friend even did the like, oh my God, why did you post that on your story? And I was like, and she got, and then I realized, but I
Oh,
fell for it. I completely fell for it for a second.
My roommate woke me up at 4 a.m. because he saw this post that like
That's commitment.
Clemson went to the SEC. I was like, bro, it's April Fool's.
That's funny.
Um, Trent, he texted in one of our big group chat, Trent, the guy that
yes.
we interviewed before. He texted in one of our big group chats and he like uh did like a little huge paragraph saying like, "Hey, I'm transferring to South Carolina," and like AI a picture of him in like a South Carolina uniform for
No
basketball. I was like,
way.
bro, there's no way.
It's crazy.
the
The commitment is real.
the commitment. Some person just texted me a picture of a AI like a AI like poster, but like this is real. Like they were hanging these up, and it was like, call this number and yell your best goat impression for April Fools.
No,
That's hilarious.
it's wild.
I might do it
that's
after this year.
hilarious.
April Fools is crazy. I saw somewhere it was Dak Prescott is getting traded to the Cincinnati Bengals with George Pickens for Joe Burrow and T. Higgins. I'm like, what
I
the
love it.
heck?
I love it how they've like brought it into the sports universe too, and like it for real
Yeah,
freaks fans out like
yeah.
bad. It's hilarious. Yeah. All right. So for our guest today, we are bringing on Grant Young, a track and cross country athlete from App State. We went to high school together, one of my good buddies, but we will be back shortly and bring him on. All right. Welcome back to our podcast, guys, to Inside the Valley. We're here with a new guest, Grant Young from App State, one of my good buddies. Let's all give him a round of applause.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, I guess I'll start out with the first question. Was track always like your first love?
Not really, no. I grew up, Max can tell you, I grew up playing basketball pretty much my whole life. Um, and that was really the sport that I probably loved the most. Um, and to this day, it's still the sport that I keep up with probably the most. Um, but track was always what I was best at, so it ended up being what I stuck with.
Okay.
Grant, how do you balance academics and the demands of being a student athlete at the same time?
Um, it's very hard, especially in college. High school it wasn't that bad. Um, but here you have to schedule your classes very specifically. Like we'll have practices, especially on Tuesdays and Fridays. We'll practice in the morning until 10 o'clock, and then from 2 o'clock until 5 o'clock in the afternoons. So you have to fit everything into that little window. Um, but they take care of us. We have a bunch of advisors that help us schedule that. They make us all go to study halls to make sure we're on top of our grades. So we gotta do 4 hours a week, staying on the books, staying good. But
It's rough.
gotta stay dedicated to it. It's hard.
Grant, going back to track, I wanted to ask you what's your most memorable feat on the track field that you will never forget?
Um, I'd say the most memorable was definitely winning the state championship last cross country season, my senior year of high school. Um, just because that opened the door for so many opportunities. Um, it kind of really put my name out there on the map. Um, got me locked into a bunch of different like interviews with people. Um, really just kind of turned me from, just some solid high school runner to actually somebody who's actually pretty good. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I'd say that was definitely a career defining moment for me.
It's amazing to see how many recruits across various sports have that life-changing championship or offer, and then they skyrocket. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh yeah.
How you doing, Grant? What do you think separates D1 athletes from high school athletes? Like the biggest thing?
Um, the main thing I'd say is really just work ethic. Like I feel like almost anybody could become a collegiate athlete. I don't know about Division One. But if you work hard enough and if you start early enough, then I think that, if you put enough time, put enough effort into it, um, you can eventually get there. Um, now, I mean, Division One, I feel like definitely like some sort of like genetics does go into it, and it's a lot of work ethic, a lot of just like raw ability. Um, but hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So just gotta work at it.
Thank you.
Hi, Grant. Just going along the lines with what Caleb was talking about, with being a four-time state champion in high school, would you say that experience has kind of prepared you to compete at this collegiate level?
Yeah, for sure. Um, Especially on the cross country side of things more than track. Um, because being able to compete at like the top of high school really kind of prepared me to be able to race against guys who I might not be as fast as. Um, and being able to compete at like national meets in high school really got me ready to compete against college competition. So, I mean, I feel like all that really, really helped. It's definitely a huge jump though, going from high school to college. It's hard being one of the best and then jumping up to this level and then being, middle of the pack towards the back of the pack. Um, it's definitely hard mentally, but it's been a fairly smooth transition, I'd say.
Yeah. And would you say like that kind of reset going from a top guy at your high school to then middle of the back of the pack, did that affect your mental game at all or anything like that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Um, I feel like especially so for the fall season, I raced 3 times. The first one was a smaller race. There wasn't many teams, and I didn't really notice it as much. The second race was a big race at Virginia, and that one kind of like opened my eyes. Like there's levels to this thing. Because I finished like 82nd or something, which is the farthest back I'd finished in forever. Um, and it kind of like I almost went into like shock for a little bit after. I was like, man, I am not even close to being good right now. Um, but it really it shows that there's really levels to this thing. But it's something that I get used to the more that I do it. Um, Especially recently, I feel like I've gotten more and more used to that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Hey Grant, I was just wondering, is there any goals this season you're currently chasing or this past season that you've been pursuing?
Yeah. So this track season, I'm hoping to run around 14:30 to 14:40 or so in the 5K. I feel like that's pretty achievable. Um, I'll get my first crack at it next week, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay, good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
What advice would you give to young athletes who are trying to take their track and field career to the next level? What would you tell them?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely tell them just don't be afraid to reach out to as many coaches as you can. Um, Track is very different than a lot of other sports where a lot of times the coaches aren't going to come to you um, because there's just so many athletes in track. So a lot of times you're going to have to reach out to those coaches. You're going to have to email tons of them. I emailed like probably 200 different schools when I was in high school. And I mean, you're going to get shot down by a few of them, but that's all right. Um, and I mean, you might get the offer you've been looking for, might not. That's okay. You just got to stick with it. If you don't get the offer, just keep working hard. Let that drive you, let that motivate you. Um, and another piece of advice is really just trust your coaches, especially at that high school level. A lot of people don't really trust their coaches and they go towards like sometimes more private things where sometimes that's necessary. Um, but don't really like alienate yourself from your team and think, oh, I'm too good to run for this coach or with these guys. Yeah, it's better to have that team culture. It's better to have people to work with, and the more people that you can get to work with you, the easier it is to improve, the easier it is to get better.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Thank you.
Mhm.
Grant, how has competing at a higher elevation in Boone affected your performance?
Um, to be honest, you don't really feel it a ton, like in the actual moment. The recovery, you do feel it though. So obviously there's less oxygen the higher you get up, so breathing harder, it gets more and more and more taxing on your body. Um, and especially I did a workout on Thursday at a different track. Um, that's even higher up on the mountains, so it's at like 4,500 feet versus the 3,000 that we have right here in Boone. Um, and that one you can really feel it. The harder you start breathing, the harder the effort really gets. Um, but it really prepares you for when you drop down to racing closer to sea level. Um, there's so much more oxygen, so much more air. It just feels so much easier to run at lower altitudes.
Grant, when you were considering which college you wanted to go to run track, did you consider any other colleges besides Appalachian State, or did you have any other outstanding offers that you were like, man, I really want to go to this school. This is a lucrative offer.
Yeah, I mean, I toured a bunch of schools. Um, and honestly, probably my favorite one, the one that I really wanted to go to was Virginia Tech. Um, and we went the summer before my senior year, super cool campus, very pretty area up in the mountains of Virginia. And to be honest, it was a little outside of where my abilities lay. But
hmm
when I came here, it was very similar vibes. Um, and getting to
Okay.
actually, spend some time with the team on my visit. They seemed like a really great group of guys um, that I could really see myself having a bunch of fun with. So yeah, team atmosphere and the actual campus here, super awesome being up in the mountains, super pretty. Um, yeah, so those were really the main factors.
Sounds awesome. Sounds like you made the right decision.
Is there anything in particular that you would say keeps you motivated through like the toughest parts of the season?
Yeah, I mean, usually I like to think about like people back home that are like watching me, like my family. I know my parents are always watching over me. Um, I got a lot of, friends back home that are always watching, keeping up with what I'm doing. Um, yeah, that really just kind of keeps me going. Uh, you know, don't let people down. So just keep driving, keep working, keep getting better.
So kind of along those lines with kind of fitting your finding your fit in a school. Um, NIL is a huge factor in why student athletes kind of sign or commit to schools in this time period slash era. What would you say was the biggest factor besides NIL that kind of led you to certain schools?
Um, I mean, really like looking for academics, looking for actual campus. Campus was probably that was the most important thing to me. And my college search was looking for somewhere that was in a cool spot where I would, I knew I would have fun being around. Um, yeah, the NIL wasn't a super huge factor for me just because running is not as big of a deal as like football or basketball. We don't make as much money,
Yeah,
so we don't have as big of a budget. Um, but yeah, mainly the campus was the biggest thing I was looking for.
thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, you said campus was the biggest thing to you. Is there anything then when you're not training or racing that you love to do on campus?
Yeah, we're right next to the Blue Ridge Parkway, so there's a bunch of like roads and little trails and stuff that are, you go up to the side of a mountain, go watch a sunset, just go hike to the top of a mountain, go see the view. Um, I really started doing that recently the last couple of weeks. Once it's gotten warmer, and it's super cool. Love going out there just to, look at nature. It's cool.
Okay, yeah, that's really great that you still have the time to do that too.
Mhm.
I said that's really great that you still have the time to do that too.
Do you have like a favorite race or like an event that you've competed in?
I'd say through high school, my favorite event's been the 5K. And then in college, I haven't raced one yet. But I would assume that'll probably end up still being the same.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Um, what is your go-to pre-race routine or superstition?
Okay, I have some weird ones. So before every race, I would go to QT and I get a pink sprinkled donut and I eat that about 2 hours out because usually I'm like nervous or like anxious about the race and I can't get food down and you got to get some carbs in. So I found that was light enough that I could get it down. It tasted good enough if I could get it down. So that's always my pre-race like snack. And then I also make this like drink mixture of half of it is an orange Celsius and the other half of it is a strawberry lemonade electrolyte packet. Um, and I just down that before like 40 minutes before the race. Gets my like heart rate up, gets my body like
Mhm.
bouncing ready to go. So it works.
What's your favorite location you've ever raced, like ever in entirety?
Um, hmm, I'd say the race of Virginia this past fall. Um, that's a really cool course. It's where they host national championship um every few years. They rotate there and a couple other places. So being able to race at a course that I'd seen on TV was pretty cool.
I bet that moment was pretty surreal for you.
Mhm.
How do you deal with injuries or like time away from competing?
Um, I've been lucky enough where I've never really sustained anything like super major. It's always been stuff that I could usually just rehab and run through. Um, but you do have to be like super on top of things with running, especially at the volume that we do here. Um, like you're putting 70, 80 miles a week on your legs. Yeah, it can lead to injuries quick if you don't stay on top of things. So I like to go um and use Normatec boots. I usually do 30 minutes to an hour, usually 2 or 3 times a week. I go get scraping, cupping done from the trainer fairly regularly. Um, but yeah, usually, especially on days that we go hard, go fast, um, I'll go see the trainer, go do stuff like that to help keep my rehab on top of things.
So, kind of switching gears, kind of off the track topic, being in such a great place as Boone, North Carolina is, you've got the Blue Ridge Mountains right in your backyard. You've got, of course, ski board and snowing at Beach Mountain. What would you say is your favorite kind of like extracurricular thing or thing off the books?
Um, I really like going just to the gym, playing pickup basketball. I love playing golf. I go play golf all the time. Up here, that's kind of tricky in the winters. Once the snow sets in, kind of shuts places down. But golf is definitely my favorite hobby for sure. Um, and then when I'm home, I like to I like music a lot. So I've learned how to play the piano recently. I actually just bought a guitar last week and I've been trying to pick that up. So a lot of different little hobbies like that. So
Would you say you're any good at golf? Max can maybe double check you on that, but
I've I've had my phases. I had one summer where I was playing pretty decent. I got down to about a 10 handicap.
yeah,
But now I've fallen off a little bit, down to like a 15 to 18 right now.
You got
not
it.
bad at all.
You got it.
Okay. Do you see yourself bringing running into other aspects of your life through like coaching or social media or pursuing it after college too?
Yeah, I for sure want to coach. I've been doing a little bit of private coaching. I started last summer with some athletes in Greenville, and I'm planning to continue doing that this next summer. But I for sure want to coach at least at the high school level after I'm done running. Um, but in terms of like continuing after college, I probably won't try to continue competitive running.
Mhm.
Um, I'll probably still go for a run or jog every once in a while, stay in shape, but not planning to like try to race anything after school.
Okay, cool.
Mm.
Kind of switching gears just a little bit. As track and field like continues to like evolve, what has been the biggest challenge for you competing as a D1 athlete or just at D1 level?
Yeah, I'd say honestly, the mental side has really gotten much harder in that transition from high school to college. Um, because the training itself is so much more taxing on your body and on your mind. Um, and when it gets hard and you gotta still keep waking up in the mornings every single day, um, it's real hard to stay motivated sometimes. Um, so I have to keeping the mind more locked in, more focused on the training, on the recovery, on everything has been that's probably been the hardest thing to stay focused with.
How do you try to like, I guess, with pushing through? Because definitely, I know it's probably hard, but how do you just keep going? I know you mentioned like families like motivating
Mhm.
and just, all your fans like get back at home and everything, all your friends. So how do you just wake up and be like, all right, let's go put another rep or, keep going, keep training.
Yeah, I mean it's been good having my teammates really dragged me through it. Um, like my roommate's very good at waking up in the morning, so he's usually good at making sure I'm up and ready to go. And then in terms of like when the actual running gets hard, um, I feel like I've perfected the art of just zoning out and just suffering through it and just running. Um, so I mean just stuff like that, just kind of not thinking about it in the moment and just kind of letting it happen. Um, that just kind of helps keep you going.
Thank you.
Grant, today in class we talked about flow state. Do you ever reach flow state or
Oh
maintain
yeah.
flow state when you're running? And
Oh,
how
for
do you do
sure.
that?
Yeah. Mainly in long runs and tempos is when we try to really tap into like flow state. That's when, like for me, the way that I kind of try to reach that is I just try to shut my brain off completely and just run. Just like stare at somebody's back or stare at like a tree in the distance or something until I literally like just don't think about anything. Um, and it's pretty crazy how it feels. Like your heart rate slows down. It just feels like almost effortless to do it.
Hmm.
And especially over like longer distance runs, that's when you start to really feel it. Like we'll have a long run and like I'd say the craziest flow state I've ever felt was in September. We did 14 miles and we ended up averaging like 5:58 pace or something stupid like that. And the whole way out, we were just kind of like slowly dropping it, slowly dropping it, slowly dropping it. And the way back, we just kind of took off. And it was like everything else just kind of slowed down and you're just cruising. And it was like, it didn't feel like anything. It's pretty cool. Um, Definitely like the feeling that's like that runner's high that people say they chase is that flow state feeling of just you keep doing it forever.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Grant, I wanted to ask one more quick question. What has been an impact you have left on a younger runner that you have coached?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say there's a kid named Garrett Lee who goes to Christ Church in Greenville, and we, did some runs together this summer. I sent him some training plans to do, um, and it really helped him improve a lot. Um, and honestly, it's been really cool to see him improve, and it's been cool to see like the effect I've had on him. They actually came up on a visit here a few weeks ago. Um, it was pretty crazy to think like he thought about coming here because I went here, and that was that was a pretty cool impact to see that I could leave that on somebody. Um, but he's for sure going to keep improving. I'm gonna work with him some more this summer, and we're gonna keep getting better.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Hmm.
From a fan or media perspective, what do you think people misunderstand about track and field?
Um, it's a lot more like mentally taxing than physically taxing. Um, because a lot of people think running and they think of like, oh, running sucks. This is just punishment. No one wants to do this. It just hurts the whole time. Um, and that is kind of true once you first start, but after like a few months, it gets to the point where it's like you can just go kind of do it and get through it. Um, but a lot of people don't really get like the mental side of things because I'd say running is probably 80% mental, staying like focused in the race, and then like 20% actual ability to do it. Um, that's why you can see like I feel like running has almost more upsets than probably any other sport at the professional level. Um, just because if you start doubting yourself in a race, even for literally 30 seconds, that can be your whole race is just ruined. Because you mentally check out, you slow down, you don't even realize you're slowing down, and then it's just that's it. That's your whole day done. Um, but yeah, definitely the mental side is way more important than people realize.
All right, Grant. That's all we got for you. Thank you for coming on our podcast. We really appreciate it. No, it was kind of last minute too, but we really
Yeah, no,
appreciate
it
it.
was good.
So
Yeah, thanks for
one
Thank
having me.
more
you.
round of applause for Grant Young.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, bro.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
All right, bro. All right.
See ya.
Well, I'll see you, bro.